special What Women Binge. It's my new BFF, Christine Taylor.
I am so excited.
I'm so thrilled you're here.
And by the way, this happened. I think, what was it, 24 hours ago, maybe, where it was like, you got to come on the podcast, and then you're on a layover on a flight.
Yeah, I was like, can you come?
Are you around tomorrow?
Like, yeah, I'll do it.
I'm in.
I know, I love it. And this is Amanda.
So good to meet you. Hi.
You. Hi. Yeah, Melissa called me. She was like, hey, I made friends with Christine Taylor. She's going to be on tomorrow. And I was like, okay.
And I was like, I'm so excited. We actually worked out. Amanda and I worked out this morning, and I was like, I'm so excited. She's coming on. It's going to be so fun. So, here we are.
I'm still like recouping from, we had this crazy weekend at 90s Con, which was my first. And so you said it, Melissa, a little bit, like you said, there will be the, like, from this, you do all day Saturday, and then on Sunday you have that little bit of like the Saturday hangover. And now I'm at the Monday hangover from Saturday.
It's like being in Disney. Like, it's like Disney. It's like a good, like, you get so much love. There's so much going on. There's so many people to talk to and see, from fans to people that you admire, to people you've worked with, to your cast members. And you're just like, love, this is amazing. Got to catch up with everybody. Got to get to know everything. And then you're like, oh.
And then it's total collapse. And you don't even realize, like, your legs hurt, your feet hurt. You don't think of any of that until you stop. Yes, exactly. Your voice hurts, your smile, your lips are cracked.
That's, most of the fans are like, are you exhausted? I'm like, just my cheeks. Just exhausted.
But I don't know how you guys do it. You look beautiful in all of your pictures. But I did, like, literally one day with Melissa at a Christmas convention last year. And I was like, I've never seen a group of people work so hard and literally not stop. And you're on and you're excited. And I'm sure the adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah. You know, it's an interesting thing because you're also
exhausted and I did nothing.
Right. Sort of easy, right, Christine? Because you're not like learning lines, or, you know, you're not having to like be on in the way that we're used to. It's a different sort of thing.
Yes, exactly. I think it's sort of like low stakes. You just have to be you, and they just are so happy for you. But it's, you know, I think
the best version of you.
The best version of you. That's what it is. It's a lot of energy output, but yeah, you're, you know, and I think there's, you know, you want to give everybody just enough time, but not too much time. And then thankfully there are people there to help keep the line moving.
Yeah, like 30 seconds to make an impression, like we do when we're in public, right? But in public, we can be a little bit grouchy, like there's things going on or whatever.
A little grouchy.
Like, at this, you're like, you get 30 seconds if you're lucky with everybody. Like if you're in the photo booth, you get 10 seconds with everybody.
That
and
is,
you want to give everyone eye contact and say, hi, how are you? Have fun today, you know, and not say the same thing over and over again, that it becomes robotic. And
right. Exactly.
Well, and I guess it's different when people are like, yeah, if they approach you in public, they're not entitled to you. But these people, you've agreed to come. They've paid their money.
They're expecting to see you.
Give the people what they want, you know.
Right. That's the thing. That's the other thing is, like, you know, they've saved up, and this is a big day, and part of, with some people, you know, I'm sure you're like me, where if somebody stops me on the street or someone's like, hey, would you mind if I take a photo? In life, I'm like, sure, let's take it. Let's do it. A selfie, whatever. So part of me with some of these people who you could tell, they're like, no, we couldn't afford to do the
this
picture and the autograph and whatever. And you just, part of me is like, just meet me out. Meet me in the parking lot, or just do it. They'll bust you, but like, meet me later and we'll just do a call sign something.
Yeah. I'm like, I saw a little girl in like a Sabrina t-shirt. I'm like, come here, I'm going to sign it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, no, come here. I don't even know. Maybe she didn't want it. Maybe I harassed.
Maybe you ruined the shirt.
What's wrong with my shirt? Who are you? You don't look like her. You're 20 years older. Back off.
Oh my God.
But so let's talk about 90s. So you have your wonderful podcast with my lovely David Lascher, our familiar friend that we both.
Yes. In fact, I know you can't really see it, but David brought some swag from our.
You got some swag.
So this is A Little Wild and a Little Strange, which was the theme song from our.
That's so cute.
So David, of course, is spearheading the merch.
Oh,
we're just going to get started on we're doing this podcast, Hey Dude, the 90s called. And I think that's honestly what sparked getting us to 90s Con, because our show, Hey Dude, was in the 90s, but for really like a little bit of a blip in the early 90s. And it was not the big show like Sabrina or Full House or Step by,
I love Hey Dude.
Thank you. Well, you were one of the ones who had Nickelodeon at that time.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of people didn't have it back in the day, but yeah. So
what year was Hey Dude?
We did that we started in 89.
Oh, okay. So we went Clarissa. That's when Clarissa was. Okay. I thought it was around, I thought you guys were a little bit before us, but I guess it was the same.
Yeah, it was 89. And then we were finished by 91, 92. So it was, 5 seasons in a really short period of time. And, and it was David who reached out to me. We all, we talked about this when you came on our podcast, but doing a show in the early 90s, none of us had cell phones. They didn't exist. None of us had email. It didn't exist. It existed probably for very important people, but not for the everyday folk. And so when the show ended, some of us stayed in touch. Many left and went back into their lives in different parts. David and I stayed in touch for a little bit in LA. And then we lost touch. It was like if you didn't have someone's home phone number, and they moved, you were done.
Forget it. If they changed their landline,
they changed the landline and didn't want to write you a letter, letting you know. So I'm
only in touch with, you met the only person I'm still in touch with from Clarissa, which yesterday my wardrobe designer, or wardrobe dresser, I should say, Michelle, the little girl who did my makeup is her daughter. And
that's who that is.
Yeah. Oh, and so her mom was my dresser on Clarissa. And so it's really the only contact I have is because she made sure I was in their wedding, and I would go over to their apartment all the time. They were a little bit older than me, but they lived in New York and I was living in New York. And so we stayed friends, but I can't even get in touch with the cast. I can't get in touch with the crew. I happened to run into someone with Amanda, actually. I ran into a camera operator, or he was the boom guy, but now he's a camera operator. And it's really hard to keep, even Sabrina. I send most of them Christmas cards because I have their addresses because they haven't moved.
Right.
But no phone numbers. No one had cell phones.
No phone number. I know. It's so strange. We did a reunion for Hey Dude in Austin in, I think, 2014. I think it was the 25th. So that would put us at 35th year, if I'm kind of doing the math, something like that. But anyway, the point is we all exchanged numbers. We all connected then. We did a group chat. We stayed in touch a little bit, like life happens. We all kind of dispersed again. A few of us would poke in. And then out of nowhere, a couple years ago, I got a text from David saying, call me when you can. Then I got an email from David saying, hey, I think I have the right cell phone. If not, and then the phone rang and I saw a missed call from David. And I was like,
he's relentless.
Clearly somebody in the cast died. That was the only reason I could think that he would have. I thought it was horrible news because I was like, there's no way that he's calling, emailing, texting in the same 10 minutes. But
by the way, last week. So now I know not to panic.
Now you know. And no one died. He just had this idea for a podcast. So he really wanted to know if I was interested. And so I really give David the credit for, I think he had been doing some sort of 90s centric podcasts, guest hosting on iHeart and iHeartRadio. So we've just had a blast. It's been so much fun. You were one of our...
He probably got really into it because I've noticed he's so good now at social media and stuff because his daughter is this YouTube social media star, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So with Jax, the singer Jax.
With Jax. Exactly. So yeah, he knew so much about he's like, we should do these TikToks and YouTubes. And I was like, I don't know what I don't know any of it. Tell me where to go, what to do. But we've had so much fun. So many people from our weekend at 90s Con have been on as guests, and you so graciously came on very early on.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's been a blast.
And who were the other 2 cast members with you this weekend?
Kelly Brown, who played, she and I were kind of like the BFFs on the show. And she was a little bit older than us when we started the show. It's like she had already finished high school she was a couple years out of high school.
And she had a huge line at 90s Con because of Chucky. Is that her?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think
there was someone there that was like part of the Chucky franchise.
We don't have the brain, so we'll have to Google.
Okay, yeah, I don't think Kelly had done soaps and she had done some modeling, and but when she finished the show, she closed that chapter, and she ended up getting married to her high school sweetheart, had babies, right away, and Josh Tigel, who played the younger son of our ranch owner, that was Josh who was with us, and Josh was like and this was so embarrassing. I always thought he was so much younger than us because he was a little kid.
He looks so young. Yeah. Right.
But he was 13 when he started the show. I thought he was like 9 or 10. Oh, and he was 13. So, we were only like 17. So it's not that.
That seems like a big difference though. Like
then, yes. That back then. Now I feel like he's my brother. I feel like I haven't seen him in forever. But
in your defense, they made him look a whole lot younger, but he looks like a kid and you look like a woman.
No. He did. He was was a late bloomer. He was little, he was scrawny, and everything was little. And then he said by the end of the series, the voice was starting to drop. I haven't watched it in a gazillion years, so.
I haven't either.
Can you
watch it?
Is it on Paramount Plus?
You can stream it on Paramount Plus, yes.
Because all of Nickelodeon is like transferred to Paramount Plus. So as long as Paramount Plus exists, we'll be out there again. I'm like, I need to start watching Clarissa before it disappears because it was gone for 20 years. Like,
right.
And it's not on DVD or anything. I don't think Hey Dude is either, right?
They did do, I think if you go on Amazon, you can there is a DVD set somewhere that.
We only had like 4 episodes on like. They chose like a few episodes and put them on a disc, and that was it, or VHS or something, and that was it. Not the whole series. Yeah.
And how many
seasons? Sabrina too. Sabrina took about 10 years till they put it out on DVD because the music all had to be changed. My mother, being the executive producer of Sabrina, she bought the rights to really great songs for cheap, which was like for like 1 to 5, 1 airing and like 5 reruns or something like that, but nothing about where the music would live if it was on DVD or streaming or any of that stuff. So after a few years, all the music had to be changed from, we had No Doubt, we had the Monkees, we had Johnny Mathis, we had like all these amazing songs, Britney Spears songs, Christina Aguilera, all had to be changed eventually.
That must have taken a minute.
I think it took years and a lot of money, and then eventually they could put out some DVDs. It took a long time, but yes.
Oh my God.
Hey, Amanda, you know how we always give our guests really great socks?
Yes.
Well, I just found some new socks, and I think you did too. Dr. Motion.
I love Dr. Motion socks.
Dr. Motion socks are awesome. Here's the crazy thing about Dr. Motion. It's a wellness brand.
It's a wellness brand, but for your feet. And it benefits all parts of your body, really.
They have mild compression socks, which are ankle length to knee high. They're smooth. They're reinforced toe for optimal comfort and durability, which is great.
I wore them on a hike this week, and let me tell you, girls' feet held up.
Yes, and the compression tights are awesome for being on the airplane. They help me with circulation, and they just
hurt that they're cute too. When you think of compression socks, you don't always think cute, but I got compliments on mine. And yours have tiny mushrooms.
Mine have tiny mushrooms because we're in a mushroom phase right now. And mushrooms are hot, and I like my mushroom socks. And the graduated compression tights have full leg support to reduce leg fatigue.
Yes, and for our diabetic customers, they have the most comfortable diabetic socks. They are non-compression, and they've been designed specifically to keep the needs of diabetics in mind. So there's no binding Lycra, and the graduated cuff allows maximum stretch.
And look, no matter your age or gender, whether you're a nurse, a mother, a teacher, a traveler, an athlete, someone who stands all day, someone who sits all day, they're great for everybody. And the spring-summer collection just launched on the website.
So go check it out. Have fashionable, comfortable, healthy feet. All you got to do is go to drmotionsocks.com and check out the products and explore the whole new collection.
And it's Dr. DR Motion Socks. DRMOTIONSOCKS.com. Check it out. Explore the new collection. Okay, we're going to get to what you binge, but I have to cover a few things. I have to cover Dodgeball because My kids make me watch it all the time.
So good.
That Dodgeball, I mean, so many people at 90s Con, they were bringing me Dodgeball stuff to sign. And it is, I have to say, it's a family favorite for sure.
It is.
Kids.
It holds up, and it's not something you're afraid to show your kids. I mean, obviously there's stuff we're like, we don't say that.
You laugh on a girl pretty good at the end there, but
right. Dodgeball is one of those, and it runs a lot. So whenever it's on, it's one of those that I almost always have to stop. Yeah. Even if I was not in it, it was like, it's just was my kind of humor. It's so stupid and so outrageous. And the dialogue, and it was one of those scripts that was like from day one, it was written that funny, but then you add Ben and Vince Vaughn and the guy, and it was just so much improvising. They were hilarious.
Were they? Oh, I love that. See, I've never been on a set where people like really truly improvise. So that would be
my God. And I almost feel like I'm rarely on them where that doesn't happen. And there's that's very fear-based.
Well, yeah, because you've been with Adam Sandler and like you've worked on all these movies.
Yes. It's like just, you have to be sharp. I mean, it's the best exercise for an actor in listening, because if you're just thinking about your line, you will be called out because that they may not give you the cue you're waiting for. It may be a totally different line. You just have to be sharp and like ready and just hope and the hardest part with guys like that is just not ruining a take by laughing, you know?
Oh, I would never survive. Like I would be fired day one because I would just
try. You just
so is it like getting your home like every day? Is Ben just like he's just like bouncing stuff off? Like is he
we laugh a lot, but not it's not quite like that. He also makes me want to like he's still my husband. But listen, I was very lucky because I came from a really funny, like my dad was he's a quiet guy, but he is like, he just is funny. He loves to laugh. And I just feel like I grew up with that. So then marrying into a family and Ben's parents, and Jerry was always the one that people saw in sitcoms and would say to me, is Jerry as funny? And I would say Jerry is like the quiet one. It's Anne. It's Ben's mom, who is the firecracker with the, mouth of a truck driver. Like nothing was off limits with her. We'd have a babysitter or somebody when the kids were little and Grandma Annie would be there and the babysitter or someone would come in and she'd go, who the F are you? I'm the grandma. And everyone was like, oh, I'm sorry. And she would go, I'm kidding. That was her way of just disarming people. And it was a little bit of her shtick, but yes, a very funny family.
That's awesome. That's got to be a lot of relief in a lot of ways, especially with in-laws, right? To always have humor bouncing around.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Wait. So because I asked you, I said, the only question I had for you, besides funny things we would share about David, was if it's hard to work with your husband, because like
it's you know what? It's really like I mean, that was a fear. Like the first we met working on something with each other, but we weren't married, of course. Like, I auditioned for him. I knew who he was. Like I was a Ben Stiller fan. It was a pilot that Jack Black was starring in. So I had to audition with Jack and he was hysterical. And I ended up getting this job that Ben directed us in, and the pilot didn't get picked up. And we happened. Exactly.
Somebody had a crush.
And yes, it started out as this thing where we were both sort of like, hey, this is fun, thinking it was like, we were both kind of in reboundy places. And it ended up sticking. So, and we got engaged, not like 6 months later, married within another 6 months of that. So we really,
we did that.
That's fast, right?
Yeah.
And it's fast.
Now as adults with teenage children, I'm kind of like, don't do that. Like,
I would never.
Like, why did I think that was okay? Like,
right.
I was married at 21. Married.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We knew. When you know, they say
11. In 10 years, he could be married.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. And it's true.
No,
I mean, you're a legal adult. You know.
There's I grew up in Alabama, so that was completely normal for people to get married that young.
Totally.
Kind of like up in Long Island where I was from, it was like every family had 7 children. So it was like, only having 5, we were like, oh, we're weird. We don't have enough. We have children.
It creeps me out to think that, like, yeah, it can happen that fast. Like, I dated my husband and I dated for like 3 years, but so many of my friends met their spouse and were like, this is it. And that was that. And
a lot of our friends, it was like their first love, their first everything. Yeah.
And you know what? When that's the story, that is so beautiful. Like, I think it's just like you said, it can be whatever stage in your life. I also think, we gals have we have a little bit more together at 21 than the guys do. You know what I mean? Like, even though it's still only 21, and I look back on 21 for me, and I don't know that I was ready to get married then, but we still kind of know what's up.
The dudes. Yeah. I think Wait, I want to know, on Wedding Singer, was it like that with is Adam and Drew? Are they all very like off the cuff, like riffing stuff, or are they very scripted?
No, there was a lot of, I mean, it's always, I've found with there, it's always, you do 1 or 2 takes with what the script is, or when you're rehearsing it, you realize something might not work and you're playing, but then it's sort of, once you get what you want. So, and I think with Adam and Drew, Adam certainly led watching him, even with the songs in The Wedding Singer, those were obviously all written, but he would just improvise little like things in between. I mean, it's such a good movie. I mean, it really is just such a sweet, that's another one that I will always.
Yes. If it's on, it's on. It stays on.
Great, for sure.
Yeah. And I think like you, Melissa, like Adam is a guy who he runs a set in the way that he surrounds himself with his people, because Adam doesn't direct, but he will hire one of his friends who's directing and all of his buddies. And it's like his posse, and they've been with him from the beginning.
Yeah,
and they're still
Big Daddy, or they're in, Mr. What's it called? Yeah. Like all of them, right?
All of them.
The grown-ups.
All of them. And you see them all. He gives them roles in all of them too. And I think Ben is very similar that way too. There's a safety in surrounding yourself with people. My son just, he's, a budding actor, and he was doing had an acting class performance last week. And his teacher got up and just said, what we start with when we come into the class is we all just start talking. And it's, teens, it's a teen class. They range from like freshmen to seniors in high school. And she's like, we all just talk about our days, what's going on with friendships, what's going on, so that we're like earning this trust. We start to feel safe, we just start to feel safe, so that when it comes time to perform, we can be willing to take those risks and not feel like
he's learning that, because I feel like I didn't learn it.
I didn't learn that.
No. Did you take acting classes? Cause I never, I feel like we grew up in the school of Nickelodeon.
Yes. I was going to say, absolutely not. I did.
I'm like, do you want look 102? Or do you want look 98? Or are we going with like 57?
I know. Didn't we do one of those for our photos the other night? You and I, as a joke, we did the back-to-back.
Yes, I have to post that.
This one.
We did the look, because David was like, look at each other angry. We're like, what? Like,
and then we just started laughing.
You were selling it. I was kind of like, I can't, what?
I don't even know what was happening, because then everybody started taking pictures.
I know, we were standing outside the hotel. There was this like one light, and David decided we had to do a full-on photo shoot. I don't know what happened.
Well, I can't wait to see those.
It was like, Amanda calls me 2 gin Melissa, but I did have 2 gins that night.
There it is.
Oh, I didn't even know. I thought you were having because you had yours was in sort of a cute little wine glass.
I had a French 75, which is like almost like just a champagne glass.
Yeah, exactly. It's cute. That was so cute.
Yeah, that's all I can handle, Christine. That's all I can handle.
Beyond that, she just gets a little sloppy.
I do. 2 gins is like my max, but also my sweet spot. Like one, right. I'm like,
if she's tap dancing, it's been a good night.
Yeah. If I'm tap dancing, it's probably been 3 gins though. It's probably been 3. I've probably gone a little too far.
Right. To whip out the tap numbers.
Well, all right, wait, we wanted to get into what you binge as well. Oh, wait, I wanted to tell you too that our school does this mother-son dodgeball game every year.
Stop
Like
it.
they father-daughter dance, like the Valentine's Day dance, sweetheart dance, and then we get to do dodgeball. So I actually have a shirt that says dodge, dip, dive, duck, and or whatever.
No.
Yes, she does. And she wears it every year.
I wear it with a tutu and a yellow wig because my team is always yellow. My son, like as he grows up, he'll always be yellow. You guys were black, right?
I'm black.
So I have the full yellow outfit.
I was signing that on people's things. I was writing dodge, duck, dip, dive.
Remember the order of it? Yeah, I'm like, I can't.
I know. I was like, am I even writing this right?
My family and I can't even tell you how many times we quote that movie. Like,
I know
everything.
No.
Like,
well, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. That became a big one, and I think I'm and I didn't write the line, but I did deliver it. So I feel like I can take a little credit.
Absolutely. If you hadn't sold it wouldn't be a thing. Yeah. Well, that one's
you find that dodgeball, what I found when we were rehearsing it and we had to sort of practice, we actually had to like come to dodgeball practices. And I was, let me see, that was like around 2000. It was before Quinn was born. So Ella was about a year and a half. And I like show up to the gym to do to work out with the average Joe's team, like where he's teaching us what dodgeball is.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I had trauma as like, going to Catholic school and being the last, the girls were always the last picked because it was
in the face and
or in the boobs or something. And you're so self-conscious back then. It was like you didn't want to get hit in the crotch or in the boobs and like have the boys see it. And it was just, it all felt awful. Yeah. So I go to the practice and I'm not kidding. Like within 5 minutes, I was so winded, so exhausted. And you're not like running full speed. You're just like doing lateral and you're bending down and picking things up and you're exerting energy. Yeah. But I remember just saying, guys, I cannot, like, this is, I just had a baby. Like this is, and then someone, one of the guys, I think it was Justin Long or something. He's like, yeah, isn't she like a year and a half? Like you didn't just have a baby.
He called you out. How dare he?
And then we did a practice once with the Globo Gym, their team, and just a classic Ben Stiller picks the ball, like from minute one, he's so into it, loves it so much. And like all out, like not even half practice, like let's just practice this full speed toss. Right in the face.
You nailed you?
I got it right in the face.
No. Like, well.
Oh my gosh, how did you get revenge?
Like
while we're shooting this movie. That's it.
Exactly. I get really into the mother-son dodgeball. Probably way too into it. Like, I am not afraid to full on pelt a first grader. Like,
yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
you
God.
are.
That's
true. Amanda does.
I get right out in front of them.
It's insane. But my thing the first year was I'm going to help all the other moms because it's usually moms against the boys.
Yeah.
Or it's grade against grade. Like we kind of mix it up. But I get in there, I run right out front and I start throwing all the balls back. I like go to my legs and just throw all the balls back to the mom so the boys can't get any. But then I'm always like whichever boy did get one, I'm right up front and I always get tagged out and then nobody gets me back in.
Yeah, that's right. The getting back in is
very difficult.
I was going to say it worked great in the movie, but in real life, it all goes so fast. It's like
no one's paying attention.
No one is paying attention. Yeah, Yeah,
we have like hundreds of people. There's hundreds of us doing this, and I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you played dodgeball in a minute, but they're not like those firm air-filled balls anymore. Now they're like squishy. What would you call it? Like styrofoam. Like
almost nerfy, like they're almost like they're
even softer, like
softer. I felt it. I felt one recently. Like
they're kind of hard to get any kind of. Because you
got to throw really hard.
Yeah,
you look like an athlete. You are an athlete, but like you like woof, like
me or her?
No, Christine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was with some Foley added in, some sound effects, and then a cutaway to somebody else throwing it and hitting and knocking the thing off. So all I had to do was the motion and get it out of my hand.
That's
in one piece.
Okay. All right, good point. All right, we're moving on from dodgeball. So Amanda, like resolutions have come and gone at this point, and a lot of them have dwindled down. Well, one of mine was to do less takeout and to cook at home more. But of course, I haven't really been that consistent.
Yeah, me neither. I was right there with you and not now.
Yeah, I who has the time or the patience to meal prep and grocery shop? So I was very excited to learn about Home Chef.
Yes, I am so excited about Home Chef because they're different from all the other meal kit brands. Yes, Home Chef provides fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes conveniently delivered to your doorstep, and it simplifies the whole cooking process.
Yeah, so whether you prefer classic meal kits with pre-portioned ingredients and easy instructions or speedy recipes ready in less than 30 minutes, I do like those. Oven-ready kits with pre-chopped ingredients, quick microwave meals that assemble in minutes, Home Chef has you and the entire family covered for delicious meals without the hassle.
Yeah, and Home Chef has over 30 options every week, so it makes it really easy to serve a variety of different dietary needs, and you don't have to worry about what to make ahead of time. It's just there.
Yeah, it's convenient. It's economical too. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. That's $86,
really incredible.
by the way.
That's a lot of money.
$86 a month on groceries.
That's a lot of money.
For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 18 free meals plus free shipping on your first box and free dessert for life.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, you heard me right. Free dessert for life as long as you're an active subscriber. So all you have to do is go to homechef.com/WWB.
That's homechef.com/WWB for 18 free meals and free dessert for
and free dessert,
life.
People. Homechef.com/WWB. Get your desserts. We want to know what you binge. I mean, I told you about werewolf novels. I said you could talk about anything, even werewolf novels. She goes, wait, what do you mean? She's like, I belly laughed at werewolf novels. I'm like, that's Amanda.
I didn't even know that was a genre. Like, is that really a genre of novels? Of romance novels?
Thing. And they're like, you can decide. Do you want them spicy? Because they go real spicy. There's like levels of spicy in werewolf novels.
And like, let me tell, like compare it to like
Twilight.
Yeah. You want vampires?
Is everyone werewolf, or there's some werewolves mixed in with people?
No, okay, both. Whatever you like. Then there's a whole breed of like half werewolf, half human. They're called lichens, and that's like a whole other
adventure.
Of course, they're called lichens. Like I wouldn't know that. I know the lichens.
So it's like this whole thing. I actually happened into it by complete accident. It was one of those things my Instagram elf served me one day while I was bored. And I was like, they give you like the little sample chapter.
Yeah.
As you're scrolling. And I was like, oh. So I read it and I was like, well, what happens next? So next thing you know, I've downloaded the app and I've read 4 novels in like 2 days.
I was going to say, subscribe. Oh,
yeah. $99 a year. Gotcha.
She's like, so here's what I've been doing. I'm like, I'm sorry. Wait, I thought she was kidding. And I'm like, what?
Oh, no. I read an entire 7-book series in the last week.
That's amazing.
See, she reads fast too. It's obnoxious. Like we're trying to be in a book club together, and I'm still on the book that she read in January, and it's like not happening. Like it's 17 books ahead of me, and I'm like, okay, well, you can talk about all those, and I'll just talk about that one. That
I just read all the little frivolous things in between until you catch up, and then I read the meaty ones so we can talk about it. And then in the meantime, I'm over here like, ooh, I like and met a vampire. Like, here we go.
But do you also like, is that your escape? Like when you're have a minute and the kids are at school and you get like, then you go to that because, because we all like, I think for me, it's probably, I wish it was more book centric, but I'm more of a turn the TV on and.
Sure. And I love that too. When I have something to binge, like,
right.
I just got through Love is Blind. Did anybody else watch that?
I like a lot of reality, but that one I haven't seen yet, but I've heard great things.
Okay. So the first season is fabulous. Then I kind of let it drop off because the second season did not do it for me. And I just got back into this. I think it's the 6th season. It was
really?
And it was delicious.
What is it? What does it run on? Like what streamer?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
And they just don't know. They've never seen each other, and they have to fall
in love in a booth, and they never see each other. And then the person has to propose if they want to see each other.
Okay, they don't have to get married to see each other, though.
Oh no! So once they've proposed, they get to see each other. Then they go on this like tropical vacation, and then they take them home, and they have like a month of living together to decide if they're going to say yes at the altar or no. the whole time they're like planning their
controversy
wedding.
this recently that someone said they looked like someone and they didn't or something?
Yes, there was all this drama with this girl, Chelsea. And I don't want to give too much away. She said she looked like Megan Fox.
Oh, that's
Not
right.
look like Megan Fox. But it's fine. She's
I got
beautiful.
super psyched. And well, you know what though? Sometimes with men, you tell them that you look like that and they'll see it. Like in a way, I feel like,
okay.
It's right.
No one looks like Megan Fox. Like,
That's true.
No,
that is true.
If she's being told that when he sees her, he might see Megan Fox. Like, didn't he come out and defend her?
Okay, I'm just going to show you.
No, I've seen her.
Have you seen the memes comparing the two?
Yeah, but didn't he come out
beautiful girl
and say, no, she's beautiful. She is like,
but it's not Megan Fox.
No.
It's okay. But it's not Megan Fox.
Megan Fox is likely not Megan Fox on most days.
There's only one Margot Robbie. There's only one Megan Fox. Like, right? There's only one Pepper. No one will ever look like these people. But like,
exactly.
Just be yourself. She should have just said, "I look like Chelsea," and you'll see.
Brilliant branding. Of course, you want the guy to like you. You know, if I was, I'd be like, you know, I look like Margot Robbie, and then like,
they defy gravity, and I'm
like,
you know, like.
Yeah, and what have the odds like over the years? Have many of them stayed together? Because I like tracking the Bachelor couples, and
they did the reunion episode that just aired this week.
And how many?
It was so good. So out of the 11 couples that have gotten married over these 6 seasons, 9 are still together, still married.
Wow.
And there's like 3 or 4 babies on the way.
Okay.
All right.
So, I mean,
that's solid.
I feel like you commit to the process.
Maybe. Would you say 6 seasons? 5? Yeah. Something like that? So like 1.5 a season?
Yeah.
I don't even think many Bachelor couples even get married. Like the fact that they even get to the altar on this show.
I mean, there's something to it.
Yeah.
But it is delicious to watch. If you love a good, like, just straight up.
I can get sucked into those pretty quickly.
All right, so what are you into, Christine? What's your big binge?
I mean, I was trying to think about this because when I binge, I binge. So it's sort of like what I find in the moment or what somebody will, steer me towards, because I'm like you, Amanda, too. Sometimes it's like, I don't have anything right now. So I'll like put out feelers of, what my brothers are really, he sees everything. He watches everything from like, so I always feel like I go to him for ideas.
Everyone needs a source.
But yeah, what I binged very recently that I could not stop, that I realized somebody told me, "Oh, have you watched Slow Horses? Have you guys watched this on Apple?"
No.
So it's Gary Oldman. It's a British show. It's those British. It's a 1 hour, but it's not. It's 50 minutes an episode, but they do a whole season, like all in 6 episodes, which is like what the Brits do so well. Like they can do a whole season in 6, and they're juicy and meaty, and it's like an MI6, MI5. I think there's a difference. It's like one of those covert, British operations, and Gary Oldman is sort of in charge of like the misfits of the people who have kind of fallen out of grace of the, the prestigious group. And there's sort of a big case every season. So I binge like 3 seasons of that, which is, only 6 episodes a season, but maybe over like 2-3 days. Like,
if it was an hour, I mean,
that's how I do it too.
I did it there. I really committed.
Yeah.
That's why I'm upset about the new Bridgerton season coming up, because I'm the type of girl who sits down and I will be up until 2 a.m. finishing it because I just need to know. And now they're making you wait in between.
Oh, they're going to serve it out.
I don't like that.
There are television, Amanda. She's a little younger than us, Christine.
Right.
So, she's not used to that appointment television or having
I was going to say there's something kind of neat about it. I don't know. Like when it's a show I love, it's the same thing, but sometimes we'll wait to start.
I wait like 3 weeks. Like I need at least 3 episodes.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can have a night.
Yes. Like if they release like, what are the ones that we wait
Yellowstone you don't watch Yellowstone.
No, but like Ted Lasso.
Anything that's slightly upsetting, let's say.
Oh, when you
not slightly upsetting.
Slightly upsetting. Do you watch Yellowstone?
I did. I fell off of it.
Yeah.
Amanda not her cup of tea. But
I resisted it for a very long time. That was one that was on my brother's list for me for a long time, and I just thought, like I really.
I'm not a cowboy person, but I love. And hey, your show, like hey, dude, like hey, dude.
But I don't think of myself as a
little
cowboy.
baby version of like it's sort of like here's.
I know exactly. Yes,
steroids.
Yellowstone was inspired by.
Went like this. Yeah.
Are there a lot of holes? Because that's a big problem in the West.
The other thing that I am is a constant for me in my life because I'm a like obsessive tennis fan. So okay. I am. It's not even a binge, but it's just like a constant. There's there's a tennis channel like on my DirecTV. It's channel 217.
Really?
On DirecTV, and there's an app too. So of course I have the app, and so you can get it anywhere on your phone.
You just like watch tennis all the
There's
time?
tennis 10 months of the year, tennis tournaments going on, and they take a break in November and December, and then they come back in January, and it's 10 months of the year. And
I was just in Palm Springs this past week, and there was a huge one going on.
Indian Wells is a big one. When we lived in LA, we went to that a lot. And Ben and I actually took a trip out there a couple of years ago to go to that one because we love going in person too.
Yeah.
We go to the US Open. We've been to Wimbledon. So there's the 4 Grand Slams, which are like those get national coverage, on some of the networks or ESPN. But I am a person who's just known to have the tennis channel on. I will pick up any tennis tournament and I can,
just like the monotony of it, or do you find like
it's, first of all, it's very soothing.
Yes.
I'm not somebody who also needs white noise. I like silence. I don't need a TV on all the time either. Like my mom, she loves background noise. She wants to have a TV on. She wants to, my brother, similar, like Sports Center or something like that. But I'm happy with quiet. I think that's like maybe comes with being a mom. I like quiet. I like solitude. I never feel lonely. I don't feel lonely is not a thing I feel. Bored is not a thing I ever feel. I don't ever feel bored as a mom. I think there's always something.
No, not since motherhood
going on. I mean, you're planning a graduation right now too, right? Are we both?
Yes, two college graduate,
college and high school,
2 weeks apart. Yes, at least we get a break in between.
If you can call it that.
Are you guys going to do something big?
I was trying to take over a Waffle House, but it's really hard.
That's not an easy thing to do.
Waffle House, turns out each one is independently owned, and they don't want to just give it to you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to shut down a Waffle House for 2 hours and get my son and his friends into the Waffle House to have like a DJ and just waffles or whatever they serve. I don't even know. I've never been to a He hangs out at Waffle House all the time. It's the only thing I could think of. I'm like, Waffle House seems
really
to be
an idea, actually.
Ending this
chapter.
Life. Like, yeah.
Right. It's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even sure he's going to graduate, so we'll see.
He's going to graduate.
His counselor keeps swearing to me he will, but I'm not so sure. I'm like kind of putting off the plans a little bit to see.
He might still be home next year.
He has a different plan. He wants to be a pilot. So he's like, I don't know that I need college. And then because he thinks he doesn't need college, he doesn't think he needs high school either. So I'm like, dude.
You made it this far. You're 2 months away, dude.
That's what I keep saying.
Have flights already. You better just at least walk across that stage, dude.
Right.
That's all you need to do.
A high school diploma. That is one thing that just we as parents, like I ask for very little too.
Yes.
My kid, I really for college because both of my kids are want to be actors. I didn't go. Ben went for 9 months to UCLA because we were both working, and didn't UCLA didn't take. He came back, started making his own movies.
Okay.
And so we have kids who have seen, people make lives for themselves and be happy and all of those things. So it wasn't like total pushback, but it was sort of like, we know that this is not a degree that is important in the world we want to go into, right. So the negotiation was like, so I'm going to like with my daughter, she's like, I'm going to go a year and see how it goes. Cause my thing is just go have some,
I'm begging my son 1 semester now. I'm like, not even a year. Just give me a semester.
Just go and have the life outside of us, outside of your high school, all of it. Just have the social experience. And she stayed for 4 years. She found great friends. It was not the easiest run, but she made it. And so, but my son is like your son now too, because he's in he's got like 5 days of academic classes left, and then they have to go do internships. So it's only like he's got like 2 projects left and a test, like 3 things. And he keeps going, I don't even think I'm going to take this math test because I don't need that. Like, I'm not taking a math class in college. I was like, you're taking the math test.
Right.
He's also a people pleaser. Like
my conversation this morning with my son, like coming back from spring break and being like, did you do your personal finance class?
Personal finance
was due. And by the way, I said, this is probably the only class you'll really use. He has not done a single assignment. So I said, we're going to start this semester, right? This last semester. Last night, I'm like, don't forget to I'm at the airport. Don't forget to do your personal finance due by midnight tonight. You better do it or I'm taking away your phone.
Right.
And the next thing you know, this morning, he's like, I didn't do it. I'm not doing anything. I'm like, you have 7 more classes with that. 7 more assignments due. That's it. Do them all today. Yeah. Just get it done. And I think it's boys. Like, you're lucky. I think you have an older daughter to kind of lead an example.
Yes.
My son is like killing me, man.
It is a different, it's like, I know deep down he'll do it because he has an issue with like people pleasing and letting people down.
That's good. At least he has that.
Yes. I love that it's like the issue is people please, it's not the worst
complex.
But still, it's like pulling teeth because it's not done without at least 3 to 4 hours of complaining where the whole thing could have been done in that time. Yeah. But then there's the complaining where I just say, you could have already been halfway finished with this for the argument. So mad.
That's exactly, now I've started saying like, I don't want to remind you again. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to yell at you for the 5th time about this. Just freaking do it. I literally
Exactly.
He has to come home straight from school today, and we have a full-on list of things that he has to accomplish or he's losing his phone. We repossessed his car today. His car has been repossessed.
Oh, no.
Because he didn't get a job when he was supposed to. So the car is repossessed until he gets a job. The first day he shows up at a job, he can have his car.
Oh, my car repossessed, meaning like
going next
in the garage, locked with the keys hidden somewhere.
Well, we've got the key. Yeah, we've got the keys. He was driven by his little brother, who's a freshman and just got his first car for his birthday the other day. He turned 16 and got a car. So now little brother's having to drive him to school, which is so embarrassing for the senior. But if he wants to get his car back, although I think because of the way he's like not motivated to finish school, it might make him drop out. I don't know.
I feel I'm sensing he is going to get through. It's just not going to be an easy couple of months.
He just doesn't want to do it our way. He wants to do it his own way. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Stubborn.
Meanwhile, I had my first taste of prepubescent.
Hers are younger. Hers are little babies.
The other day.
Yeah. How many do you have and how old?
I have 3. Okay. So Riker, my oldest, is 11, and I have twin girls. They're 8.
Okay.
And I've been so lucky. I mean, I'm obsessed with my children, as everyone is, but like they are like the most chill, kind. They don't fight. Like, I mean, they're angels always. But this past weekend, my son like lit into my smallest of the twin daughters. And I've never seen him do that. Like they've never fought. Like there's never been anything like that. And my husband turned into like dad monster the fastest. He was like, you will never talk to her like that again. And I was like, is this what it's about to be? Like, is this what teenage angst looks like? Like,
I mean,
are we going to become those parents?
Mine were friends when they were little. I would just look back. I made a video for my son for his birthday, and they were like doing everything together, carrying each other, doing stuff over here, holding hands over there. And I don't know, like somewhere around like middle school, the oldest one being in middle school, it was like not cool to hang out with little brother. And I mean, when I tell you I prayed on it. And like in the last few months, they have become friends where during spring break, the 18 and 6-year-old hung out together with their friends, which I was like, I see the videos and I get a little like, even though they snuck out and stole the car, I was still like, oh my God, they're together. Like,
never gonna make it.
And my kids were older girl, younger boy, and 3 years, 3 months apart. And so she was like always more mature than her age. And he was a little not as, so it felt like a bigger age gap than it was. And they were, I mean, like, cause he was the sweet one. She was the strong one always. She overpowered. She cast a big shadow. She knew what she wanted, and they were tough as kids. Now it's the cute, like I love, like they hang out. She's got an apartment. He's like goes over there. Like it's just, it's like so
like without like family events, they actually
yes, they like it's just amazing. And that was my brother and I were like that. I think we were closer in age. We were a year and a half apart, but really kind of loved each other fiercely as kids, but very different personalities. So we got into it, but now he's my best friend. I mean, literally my favorite person.
Yeah. Oh, Melissa, there's hope.
Well, I know. And you guys, I really didn't, everyone kept saying it'll happen. I'm like, I don't think so. I started last year going, I don't think it's going to happen for them. Like, and kind of like, I like the way you just put it, Christine, like the older one is stronger and he does cast a big shadow. And like the little one always went along he just wanted his attention no matter what that meant, just following along like a puppy dog, getting himself in trouble instead of his big brother, ratting himself out instead of his big brother, giving him money, because Brady was always really good at saving money, giving his big brother, here, I'll help you pay for that so that, I don't need the money, you take it or whatever, and Mason gets what he wants and Brady doesn't get anything because he's just trying to win his love. But now they're actually buddies. So it's like,
see, there's hope. It all, I think if it's a like if it's a family of love, like I think they see that, you know what I mean? Like if they just
it eventually comes back around, I think. Like,
and that's what we've always kind of felt, like Logan and I, we're best friends and always have been. So even our arguments are very like chill.
You guys are like a really nice family. We're like a yelling, screaming, and then hug it out.
No, we're not a yelly, screaming family.
I think Melissa, the other night you said something. You just said David was talking about his teenage daughter and how much of a nightmare things have been, and you were like, and he turned to you and he goes, "You had boys, so it was so much easier with boys." And you go, "David, my boys, they're horrible."
This was after 2 gins.
It was just the way you said it, you're like, not just because they're boys. Like I had teenagers too, and especially not. But by the way, it's not just having one boy, because that's different. Like having a boy and a girl, or but having three
boys,
three collectively is a lot
in that house.
Let me show you something I just got as a little gift here. This is like my new favorite. I'm gonna wear this everywhere because it's like. Mom of Boys is like there's like a club.
Look at you looking all Nashville over there in your beat up trucker hat.
Bring him with the Hemi. Okay, we got to ask you more questions before we let you leave, though.
Oh my God, this is flying by.
I know. We could talk to you forever. See? Amanda, right? New BFF. Like, whenever we go to New York, we got to hang out with Christine.
Please.
Okay, so what is a movie that you feel like you should have watched, but you haven't yet?
The recent one I'm going to say is Oppenheimer.
Oh, that's right. You said that the other night. Yeah.
I did it was on my list to see before the Oscars. It didn't happen because I got to carve out almost 4 hours to see that.
2 parts. Do it in 2 parts.
I will do it.
I watched the first 10 minutes and I was like, this is nightmare fuel.
Uncomfortable things. Right?
Like you feel like you've missed 15 minutes. You feel like, wait, did I not watch the first few minutes of this movie?
I watched the end with Logan because everybody knows the story.
That's the thing. I didn't know this story. I was like, wait, Einstein was alive at that time? I thought he was from like Ben Franklin time. Oh. And wait, what is the Manhattan Project? Like,
what happens when you miss middle school?
That's Nickelodeon school.
Nickelodeon high school. People.
There it is.
Okay, so we got to watch Oppenheimer. Is there one like a classic, like something?
Yes, the one that comes up all the time that Ben every time, because during the COVID and the pandemic, we started doing movie watching. Ella was already started college, but our son was home. And we just started making lists of movies that we've been going through, old, new, everything, and we have these movie nights. So we keep this running list. And one that keeps coming up, which my son keeps rejecting, he's not interested, but, and I don't even know if it's considered a classic, but for someone who's a big musical theater lover and theater person, like I love theater too. is a movie called All That Jazz with Roy Scheider about Bob
Yeah.
Fosse. And like Ben has seen it a million times. Ben's like, how can you like love Bob Fosse? Like I love Roy Scheider too from Jaws.
Yeah.
So yeah, All That Jazz is one that it keeps moving to the top of the list. So it's one that Ben and I decided we will watch together and leave Quinn out of it because he keeps it's rejected in his his list. No interest, Mom. No.
I know. I can't get I told my son now that he's 18, I'm like, you will never watch Pulp Fiction without me. Like, we are going to watch.
We watched that. Like,
he won't let me. He's like, no, I don't want to watch your stupid movies. I'm like, dude, you've watched all my other stupid movies and love them.
I know. Exactly. And by the way, Quinn was a little resistant for a while on that because you look it up and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Loved it. It's like it's like in his top.
And it's like the perfect, like that's the good. I was like, waiting.
Totally. Yes.
Well, and our age too, Amanda, you're a little bit younger, but like that 1994 when that movie was out and it was nominated for an Oscar alongside.
I remember it coming out. I didn't get to see it obviously at that age. I was in third grade.
I watched it like 3 times and then I was like, gotta win the Oscar because it's different and it's so cool and like it messed with timelines in a way that movies hadn't really before.
They hadn't. Like, that was the start of those where you
didn't know how they're connected, and at the end you're like, "Oh shit, I get it."
Like, I know, and actually seeing it again because I hadn't watched it in years. You really see that now. Like you see how many movies because Quentin Tarantino is so inspired by. He's such a movie lover, so all of his films are inspired by people. But then you see now. People taking after, like, it's just, it really is.
I'm like, it really changed the industry. And I'm like, and it's just so cool and fun. And
it is a cool,
silly and scary. And, I want to see the overdose and what you have to do in case of an, like.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Heart plunge. Like,
oh my God. I know. That's intense. So intense.
All right. So, I have to ask you, let's see, TV villain. Is there a TV villain that you love to hate?
This one is pretty, I mean, it's a toss up, but it's from the same show. And it's something I actually binged when I got COVID for the first time. And I'd already watched the whole series, but it was, Game of Thrones was rerunning on HBO right when I got COVID, like, I don't know, 2 summers ago. And I got isolated into like our, the pool house. Yeah. And I was really pissed because I was like, wait, I have to leave? Like, Ben had it a couple
guys go.
I was sort of like, nice. I feel like I should just still be able to get my bedroom and just like close it off. And then people should just bring me stuff.
Yeah.
But I realized it and it was the summertime and it was the pool house and the pool. It was gorgeous. The weather was great. And I got to just not be around anyone. And the dogs came to me, of course. And stayed with me. So I had the dog company and Game of Thrones just started rerunning because the spin-off series was House of Dragon was getting ready to premiere. So I got to rewatch that. And my toss-up is 2 villains in that show. One is King Joffrey, who was one of the worst.
Yeah.
He was horrible.
I'm like, which one is she going to say?
He was horrible. And then the other one was Ramsay Bolton. Like he was the one
tortured.
Yes. Sansa. And he was the one, like he was just horrible. So it's between those 2. Like that would be a real toss up for me in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I thought maybe you were going to say the Mountain because he's sort of a bad guy, but then he becomes sort of a good guy.
He does kind of become. Yes, exactly. No, he's definitely like, he's kind of monster almost, right? For a bit. Like, but
but he's just like a brutal kill, like doesn't care, like mindlessly kills, right?
Yes.
But he's defending her, like, yeah.
But then that's what it is. Then he does kind of take.
It's so funny because my mom was watching it with me. She had watched it like 3 or 4 times, and her and my sister talking about Game of Thrones. It was like I only watched Game of Thrones for the first time in 2018. I was by myself in LA a lot.
Same.
Yeah, and so I actually just got to like.
Me too. I binged it.
This sounds like Chinese. I binged it. So I'm binging it. My mom moves in with me for a few weeks. She's watching it with me. And I was like, the mountain like falls off a mountain, I think, or something. And I was like, we didn't see him dead. He's definitely coming back. She's like, how did you know that? I was like, because in this show, if someone doesn't die with like a spike through their head or they're like part of them like completely cut in half, they're coming back. Like, They're not dead.
Exactly.
They're definitely still alive.
Well, and also there was that season. I don't think we're giving anything away to listeners because it's been off the air for so long. But I do feel like that season, that would have been one of those cliffhangers when you think Jon Snow died.
Oh yeah.
Right. But I got to binge it. I only had to wait like 2 seconds to see that he didn't die in the next episode. But people had to wait months.
It's really hard though. Aren't you always like starting a new episode? Like with the hard part with binging is you start the new episode, but then you don't quite, you're like, I have to see what happens. But then you're like, well, I'll get through this one. Then there's another cliff. Okay, well now I just got to see what happens in the first 10 minutes of this one. And
oh my God. Wait, can I tell you, Ben and I are doing that. We did that right now have you guys watched a terrible reality show, The Traitors?
No.
Oh my God. Alan Cumming hosts this show. They did a British version as well, but they did the US version with reality stars. Okay. So it's all reality stars. The Traitors, Traitors.
Oh,
and it's kind of like one of those games where there's a group of people living amongst them, and then they pick two or three, it varies, of who will be the quote murderers, and it's like that game of Mafia. Do you remember that game? Like put your head down and anyway, that's the way they do that show. And it's so annoying because it ends on a tease of who's going to be murdered. So, we would always say, okay, let's just watch and at least see who gets murdered. And murdered just means they get ousted from the show. Yeah. And then we get, damn it, we get sucked into like next one, and then 4 hours.
Oppenheimer.
This has my name written all.
I could have watched it.
Couldn't possibly, but you'll watch 7 hours of Love is Blind.
I was just going to say,
I will be starting this tonight.
It's like, it's perfect to talk about on this because it is so binge worthy.
I love Alan Cumming. He can do no wrong. So
it's great. You'll delight in it because it's very like people backstabby, but it's a game show. It's a reality show. Exactly. And they win some money.
So what is your favorite book genre?
I'm a novel girl. I really love a good, it can be juicy. It can be, a thriller. I love I love reading. And I feel like, Amanda, you've inspired me I might not go into the werewolf romance, but the fact that you because when you're in a good book, it will take me away from my TV. Like I will want to go and just escape into the world.
Yeah. I read I'm not like this all the time. It's this past week was spring break. So I had a few moments, where the kids were occupied. So I got to sit out and enjoy some sunshine and read a werewolf book.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way to do it though. I always, whenever we go away in the summer and we have the, vacation, it's like, that's when I know I'm going to read at least one book. Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles?
Oh yeah.
So she's so good. She wrote her first novel and it came out, I think it came out maybe about a year ago, maybe like last May or something like that. But I read her novel called This Bird Has Flown over the summer. And that was the last, I just devoured it. And so I'm, I'll see those books. I'll watch the Today Show and they have their book people come on and I order, and I like books too. Like I like holding the book. I'm not a Kindle.
Actually, I just decided that after I get off this call, I have to arrange all my books and be like, what am I actually going to read? What am I putting on a shelf?
Yes.
And what am I giving away? Because I have too many books everywhere.
Too many books. And they're so great to get and hold, but there's just not enough space. And they have to be, I keep trying to find a good donation place for books.
Any library should take them. Maybe not New York, but
I was going to say New York is.
Next time you head out towards Connecticut,
I should have
one of those libraries.
Exactly.
All right, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Gosh, first of all, I don't even know. The last time I did karaoke, I was probably in my 20s. I'm not kidding. I'm not a karaoke.
It's a shame.
It's a shame, right? I was thinking that too. Because every time you see it in a movie or on a commercial or something, it's like, that just looks so fun. But I was thinking about it too, because my daughter sent a video of her and her best friend doing karaoke one night, singing songs from Grease. And I was like, that's my jam.
Yes.
Like that I would bust up and start singing anything from Grease anytime.
That's a good idea. I've never thought to do Grease. I always kind of, mine is always.
What are your go-tos?
I Will Survive is my go-to, but
that's a classic.
I mean, it's just one that I think is in my range. But then I did Masked Singer, so now it might be what was my song, Amanda? Venus.
Oh, Venus.
Panorama. Yeah. So that's a fun one to sing, because anything that you can kind of like sing, act, play,
totally
don't take too seriously.
Yes, exactly. It's not so. It doesn't totally rest on the voice.
It's not reliant on the. Yes, absolutely. I think. But
let me ask you, sidebar, because I know we're good. But how was the Masked Singer? Like, how was that experience?
It was great. I mean, it's only a few days, really, of like.
Was it like the secrecy and getting shuttled in and out? And are you wearing
Yeah, you have to wear this like visor, and they have to cover every bit of skin.
In case, right.
You're in a hoodie that says "Don't talk to me," and you have a mask on. You have to wear gloves and stuff. No, but it was really fun.
I think it's the coolest thing ever.
I was
so upset she wouldn't tell me anything.
Right? You sign like you're sworn to secrecy.
Away, but Amanda's like, just tell me. I'm like, nope, it's no fun if you know. And I love torturing her. So
yes.
But yeah, no, it was the only thing about it that really freaked me out was it was super claustrophobic, because the costume I was in had a lot of different parts and layers, and I lost like 3 out of 5 senses. So I couldn't hear, see, or feel. So it was like, so
that's part of it. Cause to me, the costumes are so elaborate, and especially when you're, when your time has come and you have to reveal yourself. And I always feel like the people underneath are sweaty.
So that's what's good about mine is mine had to be completely taken off my body. So I got to go back. We did a little like pretend to take it off, go back, change. And I actually had asked them to do like cornrow braids for me. And so they were already done so that it didn't really mess up my hair, but they were able to like slap down some flyaways, do a little powder, and here I was. Like,
that's perfect, because you know what I'm talking about when you've seen
the reveal is like your hair's everywhere.
People are like.
Yeah. No,
the only thing I can relate to this is that I was a mascot in high school, and it was the sweatiest thing.
Yeah.
I could ever think
you're
of.
You're nervous. You're all kinds of things, right?
Oh, it was so hot. You can't breathe.
Yeah. All of it.
Too much.
Yeah. I can't imagine singing during that.
Is there a reboot that you liked better than the original?
Oh, it's like I'm almost struggling saying this, but I think I can, is that because I was like a diehard original Ricky Gervais Office fan, like the British series, to the point where like I refused to watch The Office because I was like, no, they do not. Need
a good one. Nobody's brought that one up before. So
and then I watched it, and I was like, it's different. I mean, it's so the same it's on so many levels, but it goes so much further. It's the series went longer, they went deeper. It's like just different character, and I will say that's like on its like it's just as good. Like it's so good. So I will say that
you're resistant to it.
I'm very resistant because I'm a purist too.
You're an OG.
But I'm an OG, and I like that's a show I could go back and just watch over and over because they do it's so short. The seasons are so short. There's not that many. But I'm gonna go with that, I think.
Okay. I like that. What was your first concert?
The Jackson 5 Victory Tour, 1984. No, Michael Jackson and on the Victory Tour.
That's
amazing.
In Philly. And I remember my story was that my mom drove, we lived in Allentown, and my mom, it was like me and 3 girlfriends, might have been a birthday present or something. We were obsessed with it was the peak of Michael Jackson. I think I was 7th grade and 6th into 7th grade, something like that. And it was like, we just like, it was, it was the era of Thriller and all of those things. And I remember like wearing, I was so preppy. I was like Pennsylvania preppy.
Wait, like preppy 90s definition preppy or preppy today?
80s preppy. No,
okay.
like the preppy handbook preppy. There was a book called The Preppy Hand. Do you remember that?
No.
Look it up.
I grew up in a preppy town too.
I only asked because my 13-year-old niece walked in yesterday and she was, well, aren't we just preppy today? And I was like,
I have a feeling it probably is a different definition.
She's like,
this is a new
girl. Yeah. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Keller has a lot of Riz and can be so confused. Why you know that?
But I was wearing these like white slacks and I had this like, like pink polo shirt under like an aqua sweater. Yeah. And my mom took us to like with the collar. Like I was so, it's very like in The Wedding Singer, the Glenn character, his look was I was more of like probably in the Glenn style. I was definitely not a Holly that I played. I was not edgy at all.
You didn't wear a metallic glove and a red leather.
I was not lace.
Not even like Cyndi Lauper. You didn't even go like. So
I went as Cyndi Lauper for Halloween one year, and it was like really it was hard to even watch. It was like hard to see because it was so. I'm so not. There was no edge to me. My idea of edgy, even for an audition, when I remember like back in the day, it was like, they want a little like edge, and I would wear like a jean jacket with the. Like an acid wash jean jacket.
Your pearls.
And exactly. Put my, crimp my hair a little bit. That was my idea of edgy.
What would you like your epitaph to say?
It
can be funny. It doesn't have to be real.
I feel like I'm thinking, I feel like I would be sincere in like, I want to try to encapsulate like a mom, something momish, because I definitely feel like that's, been my number one. But I don't know, like fierce. I don't know, fierce. I was thinking like fierce mama bear. No, like fierce protector of her family. Fierce protector of her family. And then she lived, she laughed, she loved.
Oh, so cute. Yes.
Right. Because we laugh a lot. So I think that has to be there somewhere too.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. All right. Amanda's got this or that's for you. She's just going to
she would if she had the app open. Hang on.
And Christine, then do you have your phone near you?
Or I do.
Okay. In a minute, we're going to judge you if you just hold on. Wait, let Amanda do that.
These are just like little quick ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Rose or froze?
Froze?
I didn't write these.
These are really random. I did.
Okay.
Really random.
Read the book or watch the movie?
Watch the movie.
That's fair. Drive or be driven?
Be driven.
Brunch or happy hour?
Brunch.
Spotify or Apple Music?
Apple Music.
That was a quick one.
I'm so not a Spotify. I feel like
I don't care.
I don't know how to work Spotify.
I don't either. Ben is a Spotify, and
we're the opposite. I got so mad at Apple Music yesterday because I was on the plane. I was like, oh, well, I don't have Wi-Fi, so let me do the whatever I downloaded. Turns out I've only downloaded 5 songs on Apple Music. I could only listen to like 20 of the pilots on repeat. I was like, what? This is not happening. Okay, so now we just have to ask you what your unread email count is.
Oh dear.
Oh, this shouldn't be too bad. It's going to be worse than normal because I was away this weekend, but it's not like things you see on other people's phones.
Okay, so you
like my phone.
See the two of us. We have very different. Yeah, go ahead, tell us yours, and then we'll judge you.
Right now, 28, and that's a lot for me.
28's so good. That's my goal.
I know. It's been up to like 50. How many?
I'm at 87. And it's making me a little crazy. Because again, I was away all week. It's spring break, and then Christmas or whatever it's called, 90s con.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just haven't answered some stuff. But Amanda, listen to this.
Oh, no.
Amanda, where were you at?
No.
Yeah.
I know where this is going, and I'm uncomfortable already.
It's, we're at 40,180.
No.
That's not even the worst, Christine. We've had people on here with like 150,000, right?
No, remember mine started over after I went over.
Yeah. No, but somebody was worse than you. I forget who it was, like Jana Kramer. Somebody was worse than you.
Somebody
like a lot worse than you. Yeah.
And then there was somebody who was like on point with me.
Yeah. There was someone right around.
I've seen that with people's texts too. I see
not text. No, I have like literally.
There are people that have been on that are like, I have 1,000 voicemails, and I'm like, I don't even know how you do that.
So you just
my voicemails are 325.
How this happens is even if it's junk, you just let it go. You don't delete it.
She scrolls through for what she needs and just.
Yeah. But you don't just Swipe it and get rid of it on the way.
Or throw it away. Exactly. Every day. I clean 3 times a day.
Okay, but
delete,
unsubscribe. I see double. The first 5, 6 emails I'm seeing right now are all just junk shopping things that would be automatic deletes. So I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah, there you go. I know every time I open this too, I do the same thing. I'll be like, delete.
Yeah, I just got rid of 5.
So I'm like, I'll go back to that and read it. And I will eventually sometimes.
Now you're really gonna 40,000 worth?
I'm like, oh wait, I forgot to respond to this one. I should do this. Hold on.
But like,
yeah, I knew where this was as soon as you said that. That is one of my.
See, Christine, I knew we were BFFs, and that's how it proves that we're on the same page.
We just love each other,
flaws and all, guys. Just
oh my gosh, we love you, Amanda, for all of your wonderful. Soleil Moonfry had a book that was the most amazing title, Happy Chaos.
Happy Chaos.
Yeah,
perfect.
Soleil had a bunch of these too.
Yeah, Soleil has a hard time with organization.
I don't though. I'm actually a very organized person.
Oh, with your emails you do. So I just feel like we need to get a handle on this one.
Okay, this is just my electronic doom pile. That's all it is. Just let it be.
There's something about that number.
Betty White's dining room table was her doom piles. So, you know. Oh, Christine, thank you so much for being here, doing this with us.
This was so much fun. I love the girl time.
All day, all night, 2 gins, 4 gins, however many. I'll just hang out with you.
Anytime.
Thank you, girl. It's so much fun.
The best.
We'll talk soon. Everybody go check out her podcast, Hey Dude, the 90s Cult.
Yes. Women at what? Woman at